Hey, I'm Lou Santiago, and normally you see me messing with stuff like this, but a friend of mine, Joe, called me up. He bought some car that makes left turns, and he wants to do rights or something. I'm going to help him with that, but not only that, I'm going to give him grief about his house because he still hasn't gotten it done yet. Joe, where you at? Over here, man. Oh, man, what do you got?
Oh, yeah. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing good.
Yeah, baby.
What is this?
My road race car. Track day.
No.
Yeah, yes,
No,
yes,
no.
yes.
This is crazy. You know, I came over here with this, but the other thing is what's the deal with your home, man? You don't have your home yet.
Hey.
You're working in this.
Building my house inside of a factory.
No way.
Oh, yeah. Inside of a building about like this right here in it, you know, it's a factory, man. It's in a
Who's doing
controlled
it?
environment. I tell you what. I'll send you to see my buddy Chip at Cardinal Homes. I'll bet
Okay.
you $100 by the time you go up, you see Chip, you take the tour of the factory. When you come out of there, you're going to want one of these.
Give me the money. I'll take that bet.
Then you got to come back and work on this
That's
car.
fine. I want the money now.
You got to come back and help me with this car.
Because I got to have lunch money.
This car's got to turn right and left. We
Okay.
get done, but I'm telling you, there's $100.
Yeah, okay.
You go take the tour. I'll text you the address onto your phone. You go up there and go see my buddy
right.
Chip and take a tour of
All
that.
right, make it happen.
All right.
I'm going. I'm going to go. Right now. Lunch money! These are nice houses. Oh, that's my beach house. I can see that coming. Cool.
Hi, Lou.
Oh, hi.
Welcome. I'm the office manager at Cardinal Homes. My name is Linda Devon.
Hi, Linda. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
I'm here to see Chip. I was told that he's building a house for Joe. I think it's, well, you know, one of Joe's stories.
All
We'll
right.
put it that way for lack of a better term.
Okay.
So what do you got for me? What are we doing?
Let me introduce you to our project managers, and we can get started with the tour.
Cool. Where's she at? Who are we
Let's
talking
go
to?
this way.
Okay.
Nice
So
to meet you.
I was told that you guys are building a house for my friend Joe, and
We are.
Joe said, "Come down to see Chip." And you know, I'm thinking he's talking like this house is built in a building. It's real easy, yada yada yada. I'm thinking the house has got wheels, and he says that's not true.
It's not.
It's not true.
No,
So we don't
it's
have wheels. Okay, so then let's go find Chip.
Let's go find you.
Go after
Sounds
you. This is a pretty big place.
Yes, it is.
Man, I like it. So they build everything inside.
Yes.
Whoa.
Everything is built inside.
Okay guys, what we're doing here, we're spraying a new product on called Ruco. What this is a mixture of sheetrock mud and our primer. And what it does, it gives us a nice even coat. Oh, is this Lou?
This is Lou. Lou, this is Chip.
Glad to meet you, Lou. Thank you for coming, man.
What do you got going on
Well,
here,
I was
man?
just explaining to these guys, this is a new product that we're testing. It's called Rucoat Equalizer. And we spray it on, similar to what I'm doing right here. Got it on there a little heavy right now. And what we're doing when this dries, it gives us a little bit of a texture, and it does a self-leveling effect, so all the drywall finish work is perfect.
Oh, cool.
So if I remove this piece of cardboard, and you can see the difference in the texture
Yeah.
right there. It makes a really nice job. You can leave this for your final coat, or you can put your color on top of it.
Way cool.
But this is the way we send the house out. It's all nice. The ceilings are smooth, ready to go.
That's awesome.
So I hear you're here to take a tour.
Yeah, Joe keeps telling me he's got you building a house, and you know, and I was curious because I said it had wheels, and he said no.
Well, we're excited about building this house, and take a little bit of time and show you around and show you how we do it.
I've never seen this done, so let's check it out.
Let's do it. Thumbs up.
That'll work.
Lou, I really want to thank you for coming today.
Yeah.
I just wanted you to see the whole process. And in order to do that, I had to bring you out here and show you where everything begins. This is where all that premium framing lumber package comes.
Okay.
It comes on a big truck. We obviously put it in here, keep it out of the weather. It's never in the weather. Your lumber is never in the weather. But it all starts right here with premium lumber. It all stays all wrapped up nice and tight so it can't move. And pick it up with a forklift. We bring in everything we need as we're building every day. And the trucks just keep rolling.
Yeah.
And this is where it all begins.
Cool. It's got a lot of wood here.
The best way to take a tour of our plant is let you get on this cart and ride. I'll take you all the way through the factory.
Cool.
You might notice that it's a little snow on the ground. And probably all the other builders at home wishing it wasn't snowing, but it won't bother us because we're building a house inside of our house. We're going inside to do it. Well, here we are.
Jeez, this is crazy. This building's huge, man.
Well, let's take a look at it. We're standing in front of what we call LVLs. I call them beams. I just call it a beam. They go as long as 60 feet long.
That's crazy.
And they come in as short as 48 feet long. And what we use this for is a beam on each side of each box that we build. Why? Because when we pick this up with a crane, we don't want it to flex.
Right.
When we're working on it in here, we don't want it to move.
Right.
Because we're doing finished sheetrock, mirrors in place, marble, granite.
Yeah,
we can't afford to have anything flexing. As far as I know, we're one of the only companies in the U.S. that are using this product to make sure that when we go down the road with this big heavy house, that we don't have any flex left in it.
You don't have joints in the middle of it.
There's no joints.
There's no joints.
It's a solid beam. It takes actually some special trucking to get the 60-footers in here. It comes from Canada, and we're very excited to have that as part of our product. All right, you're hearing our gang saw crank up. We're going to run every board all the way through for a perfect cut with the same size every time. We just take this board right out of here, set it on the floor, and then roll it on out of here.
Now that's cool.
And that's why they're all the same. It's all cut on a gang saw. Everything's perfect. Nobody's measuring with a tape measure.
Right.
We're making a different cut every time.
That's cool. Because I've never seen that.
All right, let's go check out the flooring system.
Let's go.
Lou, when we cut the boards on the gang saw, these are the floor joints. These are the 2x10 floor joints. This is where it all begins. We set it up on this rack. We can push this rack down the line and set them all into place.
Oh, yeah. It goes over its own.
Here's the beam that we talked about putting into place.
Right.
And then we do our layout on the beam. And then we follow that layout. This is actually upside down. So all the arrows point down right now. Those computer arrows point down. Because we always want to frown up if we're upside down. The reason we're upside down, we're going to put a metal hanger on each one, which you typically don't have on a stick-built house.
Right.
But because of what we do here, we prefer to use the metal hanger. And we'll also work in the electrical and some of the plumbing while it's upside down. And then we'll end up putting the insulation in here. And then we'll squeeze it out with some plastic. And then we'll pick it up and flip it upside down. So you can see we have bell wire, telephone wire.
Right. Everything
thermostat wire. All the wires are pulled. Now the wires that have to be pulled into a wall will be coiled up, and then when the walls are set, they'll pull this up into a wall. So all this is pre-engineered. A lot of the plumbing is already in place. And we'll finish this up with insulation. And then I'm just going to kind of swing the thought pattern over this way. We'll flip this over and we'll deck this out. We'll deck this out with 3/4 inch tongue and groove plywood.
So it all locks in.
Glued down. And I'm sure you've heard some of the nail guns going off. We nail this thing about every 3 inches. And I think if you were driving nails with a hammer, you'd probably put them every 8 inches. But we spare no nails. And I'll show you in just a minute. We're going to take all of this right here, and we're going to float it, just like we're going to lay a tile floor on here, and we're going to sand it. Regardless of what goes on here, whether it's carpet, tile, or ceramic, we're always going to sand these floors and make them nice and neat. Lou, you know, a few hours ago, we were looking at this flooring system. It had a little bit of plumbing going in it, had some wiring going in it, and now we're at this stage where we're putting in R30 insulation.
So be sealed up good.
It'll be sealed up good with plastic.
Toasty.
And keep the house nice and tight and very high energy efficiency. You can see a lot of plumbing pipes sticking up, and if we swing over this way, we can see another floor similar to this one that's got the decking on it now, and all the protrusions, you know, have come through, and we're all decked out and ready to go, and it's laid out, chalked off, where they can start setting walls on it.
Got you.
And just a little while, they'll be setting walls on this. And in a little while, we'll be putting the rooftop with the rafters and the ceiling joists and the sheetrock on top of these sections here. The flooring system is built in a jig. This is where we start everything. We looked at the big gang saw that cuts these floor joists exactly the same. It's not one guy measuring and cutting, and he's cutting on one side of the line this time, another side of the line, and everything's just a little bit close. These are perfect. They're all the same. And we talked about the joist hangers being on each end, which is something that a lot of people don't do. And so we've got some rough end wiring going in right now. We'll have rough end plumbing. And this flooring system, when it comes off of this jig, and the jig is perfectly square to keep this house perfectly square, and then we put it back on this table, it's perfectly square. We flip it upside down to get it on this table, so we can get ready to put the plywood on it. And as you see on the other one, that one has the plywood floor on it. So it's all the same process that the same people do all the time with a lot of efficiency, and always square. And we check them the old-fashioned way with a 100-foot tape from diagonal across the corners. And, you know, we never trust the jig. We always trust the tape.
Yeah.
And if we have to manipulate them a little bit while they don't have any plywood on them, we can do that.
It's easy.
Once you put it on your foundation on a stick-built house, you can't move it.
It's done.
It's done. You just hope you did it right.
Yeah.
And what it makes for down the road is when we're putting in a floor or a kitchen with cabinets and a layout, everything's perfectly square. You don't have to fudge on anything and put a lot of caulking in something.
Right.
It's all nice and square. Now what we're doing is we're lining this house up to get it in exactly the same place as the other half. So when we're going to put the roof together, it'll line up. We'll put that roof together in the factory.
Right.
And make sure that those roof pieces line up perfectly, so when it's set with the frame, we all know that it's going to work, not find out little problem comes up later. We're going to take a picture of that in place, just to let everybody know for sure
that
we did this and that it fit. On every 2x4 wall that we put down on an exterior wall, we glue the bottom of that wall to the plywood floor. What that does, it not only makes it stronger, but it seals it, and there's no air can come through there.
That makes perfect sense.
You know, all the air that comes into your house through little bitty cracks adds up to a great big hole. In the end. So it's just like cracking your front door and letting air in. So everything we do, take a special note to seal it and to make sure that we can't get any air in that house and keep it nice and warm and efficient.
Well, in this day and age, energy efficiency is the key.
It's everything.
It's everything, yeah.
Yes, sir. We're going to brace this wall off. It's pretty close to being plumb, but when the outside wall comes in, we'll get it perfect. Fit right in place. How much time do you think we saved by putting this up inside the factory with a crane?
It's ridiculous because you know what? It's raining outside.
Right.
And
not to mention a little snow that we've had all day long.
And you wouldn't even have the guys wouldn't even be on the job site.
Right.
You burned a day.
That's right. And the beauty of this is nothing's wet.
You know what? The beauty is these guys would normally be out in the field swinging a hammer. They're inside where it's climate controlled and nice and dry.
And so is your house.
And they're making money. And like you said, so is your house. Because you know what? Every time this stuff gets wet, it expands.
It does. And that can be a problem down the road when the flooring is put down.
Yeah.
It may not appear at the moment, but later down the line it pops up and then you got a problem.
Yeah. This is
controlled environment is the way of the future.
And this is so solid.
As solid as you can be. Once we sand the floors and sweep them clean, do the patchwork, re-sand them, sweep it again, then we put this plastic down. And the purpose for the plastic is so that when we get further down the line, after we do sheetrock work and painting and all those kind of things, we can take the plastic up and our floor is perfect. It's not dirty.
Got you.
Now we cut it a little bit short, 3.5 inches for a 2x4 wall, because we want to run that seal down through there that we showed you, that glue seal.
Right.
Because we don't want any air leakage. If we were to put the plastic underneath the walls,
you get air.
Then we're going to get some air leaking in there. So we take precautions for all those kinds of things. So once that outside wall was set and everything's in place, then we start bringing in, it's real easy, start bringing in these smaller interior walls. They're already put together modular.
Yep.
And they're already notched out for the double top plate.
Right.
And you just simply set them in place, drive a few nails with a hammer, and then you come behind with a nail gun and really nail them down really tight.
I got you.
Now what we have is we have sheetrock on one side of every wall. And the purpose of that is we could put it on both sides, but we have to run electrical and switch plates and switch covers and all of those things access. And further down the line, we'll begin to put the sheetrock once the mechanicals are in place, and it'll start looking more like a house every inch that we move it.
So, and everything is 16-inch on center, right?
Everything is 16-inch center in this factory. It's not done that way everywhere, but we're old school and we like to keep it that way.
Got you.
We had some of the plumbing put in when the house floor was upside down.
Exactly.
But when we flip the floor over, then we deck the floor, we have our layout that we look at. You see all these lines that are drawn. These are all precisely within a certain place within a wall, because your rough plumbing has to be within a wall.
I got you.
Okay, it can't be in the middle of the floor. So all these things are in the exact right place. And then where they come through the floor, we use the foam like we do around the electrical boxes we talked about. So when all these interior walls come in, they'll actually set right on top of all these pipes. They'll line all this stuff up. The floor drains have plugs in them. The reason is they'll pressure test the floor drains, and they'll pressure test, see the plugs in here, they'll pressure test this at 100 pounds PSI overnight. Okay, we're only supposed to keep it for an hour, but we'll do it overnight because we don't want anybody to have a leak anywhere. And we pressure test the drains, I think at about 40 pounds to make sure there's no leaks in the drain system.
Right.
And so when all this is done, if you can look over here and see all the wiring, that'll all come through where the panel is. That's why there's so many wires right there. The electrical panel will be in that wall.
Yep.
And everything is labeled and ready to go. It'll end up in the right place.
Can I get a 4-car garage with an upstairs living area?
Just get your checkbook out.
Okay.
This is the jig where we build the rafter and the ceiling joist. The ceiling joist is the flat part of the ceiling that we're going to put the sheetrock to. And the bottom part is the rafter. And it has to hinge, but by doing it on a jig, they're each cut the same. And then we put a bolt in the other end where the hinge is, because we're going down the highway. We have to be a roof flat down. And then when we get to the job site, the crane will lift the roof up, and it'll become, from being a flat-looking roof, it'll become a 7/12 pitch or even a 12/12 pitch.
Right.
And this is how we transport this stuff already ready to go. This will be hoisted up on the crane. This will go up to our mezzanine to the top section where we're going to build a roofing system. What we're doing is we're taking the drywall that's going to be on the ceiling.
Right.
We're putting the finished side down. We're going to build this upside down. Okay? And then when we set it on top of the house, everything's going to be in place like it's supposed to be. Now, when I used to stick build houses and we had to follow up and hang all the sheetrock once the house was stick built, we had trouble getting nice smooth ceilings because we had a thing called butt joints. In other words, when they came in, they ran the sheetrock this way.
Right.
And because of that, I had joints that were not factory joints.
Right.
And when I wanted that to be a finished smooth roof, smooth ceiling, then I had to have a lot of finish work done to make that look good. Okay? And so what we're going to do, we're going to build this upside down. If these things are going, it can go as wide as 16 feet this way. And all of our seams will be factory seams and all going in that direction, no butt joints. So let's go ahead and put this in place, gentlemen. We're going to do our layout on top of this. This board's already marked for our layout.
Right.
And it's going to fall right on those seams right there. We've got one more little board to slide into place to make this house the right length. And you can see this is going to be a big, long section of roof. It'll go where we just finished putting those walls on that big, long floor.
Got you.
We're going to tape each one of these just to keep it all in place. Doesn't serve any other role except to make sure that we're going to put some hot glue on here eventually, and we don't want that to seep down in any cracks. We want it to be just right. All right, guys, here we go. We're going to put the rafters and the ceiling joists in place. Now, Lou, we've had some earlier conversation today about what the weather is here in the big city of Williamsburg, Virginia. And we noticed that it's raining outside. It's been snowing and sleeting for the last couple of days.
Yep.
But guess what? This roof is not going to get wet.
Yeah.
And we know some projects we've talked about along the way where they still don't have the roof on the house, and it's been open since November trying to get it all dried in.
Man.
This is the beauty of building your house inside of our house.
Okay, so Chip, what's to prevent a crew out in the field from doing this same job right now? Making the rafters like they are, just making them. What would prevent them?
Well, a couple of things that come to mind is we have this on a very permanent table that's perfectly square, perfectly level. And you have to have something like that to lay out all the sheetrock upside down, or you'll rip all that sheetrock. And then for him to come out with a hot glue gun that's going to spray foam from this side to that side on each side of that board, it's not going to happen probably.
I got you.
And then everything has to be pre-cut. That's all done here in the house. It has to be pre-cut probably in a workshop and carried to the job.
I got you.
You're tripping over roots and debris on the job site. You know, one of the beauties of what we do here is we can recycle everything that we have for scraps. In other words, we recycle all the scrap lumber down to about 2 or 3 inches. And then when we have the 2 or 3 inches, we let that add up, and that's our heat for the winter.
Yeah.
And then we bale cardboard every day, and we bale plastic every day, and it's all recycled.
As to where normally at a job site, it just goes in a dumpster.
It goes in a dumpster, it gets buried in the ground. Who knows what happens to it, but it's not, blows down the street, you know, makes the neighbors mad, whatever. Happens to it.
Your new neighbors.
That's right. Whatever happens to it. And, you know, nobody's paying attention. They just want to get their work done, you know, and get their contract over with. So everything is controlled here. And, you know, what most people will not think of about this roof system is that because we're building it up here, it's safe. We don't have a roof folded up with a guy hanging from a rope on a wet, rainy day with him sliding down the roof and falling 2 floors to the ground and landing on a set of sawhorses. Okay. Everything that we're going to do here is going to be in a very safe, controlled environment. And you know, a lot of people that are homeowners and building their own home do not realize that they're liable for whatever happens on their land. And so if a guy falls off their roof, even though he has insurance, his limits of liability are going to be at their exposure. So if he gets hurt and he doesn't have enough coverage, the guy on that land is going to have to take care of that problem.
He's got to take care of it.
And so we say that about 90% of all the risk of injury that would happen on a construction site, because things happen when you're in the rough end stages. Things happen when you fall off a roof. Things happen when you're sawing lumber on a unlevel ground. And you cut your finger. So forth and so on. All that here is in a very, very safely controlled environment. As a matter of fact, our rating for workers' comp here is a 0.87. And what that means is a normal is 1. And if we had a lot of claims and a lot of problems and a lot of injuries, it might be 1.5 or 2. So we're about 15% below the 1. And so, you know, we haven't had a major loss in a long, long time. And you're always subject to something happening. Now, this roof is going to be all put together like this. Then they're going to come along. We're going to glue all of these ceiling joists to the sheetrock. When that ceiling's picked up, it's going to be perfectly straight, perfectly square. This is another thing hard to do on the ground or even on a house. Then we're going to pick it up with a crane, and we're going to lift it, and we're going to set it on top of the house. And we're going to square it up, get it all lined up nice and straight, fasten it down. Then we're going to put the decking on the roof, but we're going to be flat.
Could you put a green roof on Joe's house?
Absolutely. And by the way, there it is.
Oh, okay.
Let's go take a look at it.
Let's do that.
We're going to go ahead and lower this. And we're going to walk on out there and take a good look at that roof. We'll get this kind of level. Let's get Joe's roof. I'm going to open this gate. I'll let you go first.
Why, thank you,
Age before beauty. Now we're walking down the ramp, and you can see it's real easy to work on here. I can get up any height I want to be. Everything is sealed off good. Here's Joe's green roof. And you know, if you want a green roof, you get a green roof. If you want a blue one or a white one or
get a roof
or a flat one or what have you, you get what you ask for. And you know, we have a little saying, if you can dream it, we can build it.
There you go.
And I think that's what sets us apart from other manufacturers. That we aren't trying to build the same house over and over. As a matter of fact, pretty much every house we build is a custom house. And as you can tell, this house is very custom. And our people are you know, already acclimated to doing every house a little different than the last one that they built. This house is got high wind code windows in it and impact doors. which makes it a lot safer. You know, if you're in a high wind area, if you're going to a beach area or a mountain area, where you might have some winds. In Virginia, we have some winds here, so we get to see a lot of this. And now we put the insulation in, and we're putting up the we call it OSB board on the outside. Now, if that's an outside wall, then it'll be followed up with siding, or if a fellow wants to brick the house. But you see how many nails, and we put glue on every stud. That house is tight as a drum. You see all the metal straps that are used just to give the house a lot more strength that you typically don't see in a regular house. A lot of those studs are doubled, some of them are tripled. It all depends on what the engineering is that when we do the plans.
Right.
Here's a good cross section of a ceiling joist with the glue on each side of the ceiling joist that's holding all that sheetrock up. There's no nails, no screws in that sheetrock. And if you were to try to take a hammer and beat all that apart, you'd have wished you'd have had some nails and some screws instead of that glue, because this stuff won't break apart.
It's coming out.
It's not doing it. You can see some of the electrical that's in place, then the insulation that come in, and then this is a flat roof with a roll rubber roofing top on it. Actually also be used as a roof and a deck.
Oh.
And this is a villa that's going to be transported down to Lake Pontchartrain in New Orleans, Louisiana.
New Orleans?
It'll be New Orleans. It'll be right on the water, and somebody's going to have a good time in this villa.
Someone's going to be in New Orleans in this thing, hanging out.
I guarantee.
Guarantee. Woo!
So Lou, let's go in here and look at the plans to Joe's house and see where it all began.
Cool.
Let's take a look-see at these plans for Joe's house. There's a lot of engineering that goes in this, and we'll skip some of the little fine details, but just to show you the floor plan and some of the detail stuff that goes in here. I mean, every measurement has to be perfect because it has to fit.
Right.
And you don't get a second chance. You have to really slow down everything that we do here if you make a mistake. So you can see a lot of green and red lines here. This is all your electrical pulls. So the electricians will be using all this information from here when we're doing that flooring system to put all this stuff together. And you can see this is a really nice size house here. It's a 5-box house. And we even do the foundations for the builder, because we wanted to make sure it fits our house.
So it fits the house.
So instead of having a third party figure out the foundations and the footings, we do all of that. It's all approved by a third party that comes in here several times a week and inspect everything that we're doing. And they walk these down the line, and they make sure everything is exactly the same. Here you see where all the flooring rafters lay out. It's just all full of detail.
Yeah.
And when we finish this drawing, the computer program will draw a 3D, I call it a walkthrough of your house. And we can literally walk you through your house. If you'd like to place your furniture and decide, well, you know, that window shouldn't be there. I'm putting that piece of furniture there. You need to move that window over. Or a receptacle needs to be there, or a place for a TV to plug into and not see the plug.
Right.
Then we can walk you through your house. You can design where everything goes, and then we can readjust a little bit and put everything just like if you built it yourself one day at a time.
So I need a 6-car garage. Can you do it?
I thought it was going to be a 4-car garage.
Well, you know, things change. I mean, obviously.
You have enough money left over after doing this to buy 2 more cars?
You can change all
and the house?
As we're going. So, I mean, clearly, I can get at
Let's
least
just go ahead and jump to the 10-car garage.
Let's do a dozen.
I'll just do a dozen.
Unless you want to do a baker's dozen. We can get 13.
Oh, God. We better go. All right, here we are. We're now at the stage where we're mudding in the sheetrock. We watched them put the roof on, the ceiling already in place, ready to go. So they're going to start out by taping everything. That just gives us strength so we don't ever see a crack in that roof. And these people do this, the same people do this over and over and over every day. They're very good at this, and they do it right every time. It's very hard in a stick-built house to get a smooth ceiling, because remember we said they're going to have butt joints in a stick house, because they're going to run the drywall across the other way.
Right.
And we run it the same direction as the ceiling joist, and there's no butt joints, nothing but factory seams.
And you only have 3 joints because you're running along the piece.
It's all the factory seam where it goes perfect.
Got you.
So let's look at one that's finished.
Let's do that. Let me get a look at it.
So it's a little while later, and we're looking at the same room we looked at a minute ago where they were doing the drywall finish work. And we use a quick dry drywall mud. Our stuff dries in like 20 minutes.
Really?
And we wet sand everything so we don't get a lot of dust.
Right.
And then if we're doing primer work, we do our primer, obviously, and then on top of that, if paint's required, a lot of people paint their own houses on that end, okay, because they have some subs that come in there. And
right.
We'll do all the priming, and but this particular house required that everything be totally finished, which is very nice, and we really like to do them that way.
Right.
So now, you and I can't smell it on the TV, but we can smell it right here. It's fresh paint.
It's fresh, yeah.
Okay, we don't want to go in and put our fingers on the walls. But we can see that what's coming next is going to be the base trim and the crown mold, and it's going to be pre-painted, all spray painted. It won't have any brush marks in it.
Got you.
And when it goes up, it'll be done in perfect. They'll set the doors and then do the trim. After that, they'll put in the floor covering, and we'll see some of that going down in just a minute.
Right.
You'll kind of peep in the door. These guys are locking in this floor covering. It just simply goes down and locks into place, and it floats.
All tongue and groove, yeah.
It's all grooved together. Once it's down, it's permanent, it's durable, and you can go anywhere your mind wants to take you. We can put down hardwood floors that you can refinish as many as 3 times, sand and refinish. Or you can go with real durable vinyl like this. It's going to be, this is a heavy traffic flow floor cover, and it's kind of a simulated hardwood floor, but it looks really nice.
Yeah, see I like these windows. I mean, that's a cool look because you get a lot of light in, because you got the high ceiling.
Yes, sir.
That's really neat.
Yes, sir. That was a good tour, wasn't it?
It was, man. This is
all right.
Really impressive.
All right. Now let's take a look and see. This is the finished product. So Lou, when we finish everything up, it comes out this big door.
Right.
And then we lift this house up. As you can see, we use nothing but the best transporters here at Cardinal, and we control this entire process. Once we have it securely loaded on our transporter, we tie it all down and conduct a full safety inspection. We pull all the DOT permits, do our final safety checks, and send it down the road to the new owners. Well, Lou, tell me what you think about the tour.
Chip, it's impressive. I would have never thought in a million years that you could build a house as big as you guys do, as efficiently as you do, and then take them from inside a building to a job site, put them on the ground, seal them up, and I would have never thought that. In a million years, I wouldn't have thought that.
So a little bird told me there was a bed involved in this visit.
Oh, little bird, yes. Little bird, yeah. I guess I gotta go take care of that, don't I?
What's that about?
Well, I said that these homes had wheels. Not, my ignorance came out, and Joe said he was getting it built all inside. I called him a liar, and, so I got to go pay him back $100.
So I guess it's time to go pay him.
Yes, I'm going.
Hey, thank you.
Anytime, Chip.
Yes,
anytime.
Sir.
That's good.
Oh yeah, baby.
Man, you
oh
got me.
Yeah.
You got
oh yeah. I already got a phone call on this one. Yes, sir.
Oh.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. Hey, you have to admit though, amazing place.
It's awesome.
Amazing.
I would have never in a million years.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Because you're used to seeing stuff on the site getting built.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
All stick built. It's all,
Yeah.
it's in the weather. They're exposed to the elements. It's just...
That was my problem, remember?
Yeah.
The guy,
I know.
the builder kept pushing me off.
Mhm.
Then he kept saying the weather. Then this whole thing about getting all the materials there.
Yep.
Then his subs were killing me.
3 to 4 weeks.
Oh,
done,
yeah.
out the door.
But this is all the things we talked about. Thank goodness
Yeah.
I didn't start. Chip, Cardinal Homes, totally
Yeah.
the way to go. That's the only way I would do it.
It's
no matter
easy.
what. Oh, yeah, it's
It's
absolutely easy.
I mean, they got everything on site.
You going to buy a Cardinal Homes home or what?
I might
You in?
buy. I was talking to him about a garage.
Okay.
Garage.
All right,
Yeah,
right
that's
on.
where I'm at.
Cardinal Homes, definitely
Here's
the
your
way
money.
to go.
Here's your money.
Yep, need my money.
You're short $5 because I bought lunch.
All right, good. Let's work on this car. I got to get this thing where it turns right, not just left.
Well, first of all, you started with the wrong car.